Hi, I'm Life Coach Landry, and the topic is the number one way to have greater productivity. Why Adderall and stimulants backfire for productivity and what to do instead. I want you to get more done faster and better. In other words, I want you to work at a faster, more efficient speed, but with just the same on par or higher quality. That seems to be everyone's, modest, way to run today anyways. But unfortunately, it doesn't stop there, right? Obsessions with efficiency have reached extraordinary levels. One of the latest and most personally jarring examples are the companies springing up around food, making and developing efficient food replacement products that deliver optimal nutrition so that you don't have to waste precious time planning, shopping, preparing, cooking, eating meals. I think this is very telling about where we're heading. A full day of balanced nutrition made in 3 minutes. Presumably, these meals and pleasure of eating is like, a car theft movie gone in 60 seconds. So I'm going to tell you why, in my opinion, stimulants backfire. Not many years ago, only a few college students and professionals took Adderall, a prescription that was used in the treatment of narcolepsy and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or other stimulants to get an advantage. Now students tell me, that I've bumped into, or people that are going back in their master's degree, or some of my clients that are currently in grad school, they feel that they don't take, such stimulants during exam time anymore because they are at a disadvantage, they feel. And they're not alone, because professionals have taken to using brain enhancers, also known as nootropics. And a lot of people are wondering, well, I've never heard about that. It's spelled N-O-O tropics, because it helps give them an extra efficiency edge to curb the need for sleep and to keep their focus sharp for days on end. It's just one of those things where if you have huge workloads of immense, time consuming things to work on, using, nootropics can keep you staying awake for 60 hours at a time, but you'll eventually burn yourself out. And of course, we all know that caffeine is probably the most important stimulant. Yet time and time again, we see these stimulants end up burning us out. Why? Because we're running on empty. So even though these new products are coming out, food's being re-enhanced, you got things like, the nootropics things and things like that, there are better ways to do this stuff. Stimulants are not the way to go. Okay? So why we stop showing up? And the cold of efficiency, obsession with enhanced productivity, and the chase for optimal performance, we forget something important, something that might really be worth creating a resolution around ourselves. Even if you aren't, pursuing and pushing the search for extremes, you may think you are spending quality time with your kids, but think nothing of checking your phone and email at the same time. You may be lying in bed resting, but are also responding to your colleagues at work. You may be eating your favorite homemade breakfast, but also, fitting in writing a quick thank you letter that needs to go out. When we're not multitasking, our minds are wandering. Research shows that our minds are really only fully present 50% of the time, if that. So the rest of the time, our minds are engaged in thoughts and past and future. So I'm going to teach you a real quick informational. It's going to be a brief version. If you want to work with me personally and really get into the details of how to become more productive, I can work with you on that. You can contact me at the email below the segment. But I'm going to tell you here's how to be really productive and in general just much happier. So given our tendency to multitask and mind wander, when we do fully show up in our lives, right there, right now, when we're actually at our best with 100% attention to one single person or activity, let alone ourselves. How often do you do that? When we're present, the same research who found that our mind wanders 50% of the time also found that we are happiest when our minds are not wandering. So even when we are doing things we don't particularly like, in other words, you could be doing the laundry or taking out the trash, but if you do it with 100% attention, you'll be happier than if you were daydreaming about your next vacation while doing it. All right? So think about that. Basically, you need to put full attention. By being fully present, you will have a greater chance of, attaining the marvelous state psychology calls flow, in which you are totally immersed in the activity at hand and you enter a state of complete absorption, basically like bliss. You have likely experienced flow while fully engaged in creative activity, or while viewing an awe-inspiring natural landscape, or connecting deeply with another person, but how about when you're doing your taxes? So I want you to think about if you went to someplace you've always wanted to visit and you were taking in the sights. Let's say you went to Rome and you're looking at the Colosseum. That moment where you're fully concentrated makes you the most happy. So you need to learn to condition yourself to think more like that when you're doing anything. The irony is that by being present, you become more efficient. Why? Because research shows that multitasking, by splitting our attention, harms our ability to remember things and to concentrate. Sure, you're doing more things, but you're doing them less well at a less, just a lesser quality in general when you're multitasking. And that's with anything, right? So how can you cultivate the ability to be present? My recommendation and what I work with my clients on is meditation, yoga, if you enjoy yoga, and breathing are powerful ways. But in so doing so, any activity 100%. So taking a walk without your phone, driving without texting, listening to music, listening to someone with full concentration. You remember research shows that we can train our brain to be more in the moment. We can train our attention to stay with what exactly we were doing. Of course, it's not always possible to do one thing at a time. Your baby may be crying. Your boss may be calling at the same time. You may really need to squeeze a text in while you're having lunch because it's urgent. Deal with it. But remember this. It's when you are present that you are happier and more effective. It's when you are present that you are truly aware of what is going on in your life. That it's truly in a relationship to yourself, to those around you, and to be immersed in that moment. So I challenge you, when you get a phone call from a friend, and you're talking to them and your phone beeps, you don't click over. I challenge you that when you go walking, you do not take your phone. I challenge you the next time you listen to music, you don't have a computer, you don't have a phone, you don't have anything else around you while you're doing it. I challenge you next time you're meeting somebody or you're going on a date or you're catching up with an old ex. I challenge you to be 100% invested in that moment and not doing or concentrating or thinking about anything else. It's so precious, and the will. And after all, if you do these type of things, you'll notice that your happiness will tick up and your quality will go up. These are proven by science, and it's been proven with the clients I've worked with, the feedback that I've received, it's been extremely effective. So if you're one of those people that you're trying to find a way to become more productive, more organized, have a higher quality of life, find ways to be happier, you can book a personal session with me and we can work on these types of behaviors by clicking on the contact information below. And if you just found this video of value to you, you can click on the donation link below, and I will talk to you soon.